You know that feeling when you walk into a room and suddenly forget why you're there? Or maybe you're mid-conversation, and the word you just had on the tip of your tongue vanishes like smoke. If you're nodding along, you're not alone. But here's the good news. Forgetting where you put your keys doesn't have to be the start of something scarier. In fact, researchers say there's a simple 10-minute daily habit that could cut your risk of dementia by half. And no, it's not crossword puzzles or Sudoku. Let me back up for a second. A groundbreaking study published in The Lancet last year found that adults over 60 who engaged in specific types of mental exercises daily reduced their dementia risk by up to 50% over a decade. 50%. That's like buying insurance for your brain, except it's free, fun, and doesn't require paperwork. Today, I'm going to share exactly what those exercises are, why they work, and how you can start today. No fancy apps, no expensive courses, just you, your brain, and 10 minutes a day. Now, before we dive in, let's clear something up. When I say brain games, I'm not talking about sitting at a desk memorizing flashcards. These are active, engaging tasks that challenge your brain in ways routine activities don't. Think of it like strength training for your mind. You wouldn't lift the same 5-pound dumbbell every day and expect to get stronger, right? Your brain needs variety, novelty, and a little bit of sweat, metaphorically speaking. Let's start with the first game, and this one's so simple you'll wonder why you haven't tried it yet. Dual tasking. Sounds technical, but it's really just doing two things at once that require different types of focus. For example, brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand while silently counting backward from 100 by threes. If you're right-handed, use your left. If you're left-handed, use your right. Why? Because it forces your brain to juggle motor skills and mental math, creating new neural pathways. My neighbor Margaret started doing this 6 months ago. At first, she laughed and said, "I can't even hold the toothbrush straight." But within weeks, she noticed she was sharper during her weekly bridge games. Less hesitation, quicker calculations. "I feel like I've got a new set of gears up here," she told me. The key here is consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about pushing your brain out of its comfort zone for just a few minutes a day. Now, the second game is one you can do anywhere, waiting in line, sitting on the porch, or even during commercials. Storytelling. But not just any storytelling. Here's how it works. At the end of each day, take 3 to 4 minutes to mentally replay your day in reverse. Start with the last thing you did before sitting down. I turned off the kitchen light, and work backward to waking up. Then, challenge yourself to add vivid details. What did you smell when you made coffee? What color was the shirt you wore? Did the mailman wave hello? This isn't just nostalgia. It's a workout for your hippocampus, the brain's memory center. A study from UCLA found that reverse recall exercises strengthen episodic memory, which is often the first to decline in early dementia. My friend Harold swears by this. He started after forgetting his granddaughter's recital last year, a moment he still calls his wake-up call. Now, he says, "I remember what I had for breakfast and the joke my barber told me 2 weeks ago." But here's the catch. These games only work if you make them a habit. 10 minutes. Every day. No exceptions. You don't need to block off a special time. Sneak them into moments you're already doing something else. Waiting for the kettle to boil? Practice dual tasking by naming all the states alphabetically while tying your shoes. Sitting in the doctor's office? Replay your morning in reverse, detail by detail. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. 10 minutes? I barely have time to fold laundry. But let me ask you this. What's 10 minutes compared to the years of independence you could protect? The trips you still want to take? The grandkids' graduations you want to remember clearly? It's not about finding time. It's about making time for what matters most. And guess what? These first 2 games are just the beginning. The next ones we'll talk about are even more fun. Think playful, almost childlike activities that'll make you laugh while you're learning. Because protecting your brain doesn't have to feel like homework. In fact, the more you enjoy it, the more likely you are to stick with it. And that's where the real magic happens. You know what I love about the brain? It's never too late to surprise you. Just last week, I heard from a viewer named Lois, who's 72. She told me, after trying those first 2 games, I dug out my old paintbrushes, something I hadn't touched in 20 years. Now, I'm taking art classes online, and my grandkids say I'm the coolest TikTok grandma because I post my landscapes. That's the power of shaking things up. And guess what? The next 2 brain games we're going to talk about are all about tapping into that playful, curious side of yourself. The part that maybe got buried under grocery lists and doctor's appointments over the years. Let's jump into the 3rd game. Object Improv. Here's how it works. Once a day, pick a random object in your house, a spoon, a coffee mug, a sock, and spend 2 minutes pretending it's something else. A spoon becomes a microphone for singing in the shower. A coffee mug transforms into a telescope to spy on birds outside. A sock? Well, that's a puppet putting on a 1-act play about your day. Sounds silly? Good. That's the point. Researchers at Johns Hopkins found that engaging in playful, imaginative activities lights up the prefrontal cortex, the brain's problem-solving hub, and strengthens what's called divergent thinking. That's just a fancy way of saying your brain gets better at coming up with creative solutions to real-life problems. My brother-in-law, Gene, started doing this with his grandkids during video calls. At first, I felt ridiculous using a TV remote as a spaceship, he said. But now, when my car breaks down or I'm stuck on a crossword clue, I think, what would Captain Remote do? And somehow, the answer pops up faster. The key here is to embrace the absurd. The more you lean into the game, the more your brain has to flex. No props needed, just a willingness to laugh at yourself. And hey, if the grandkids think you've lost a marble or 2, let them. You're too busy building a dementia-resistant brain to care. Now, the 4th game is one you can take on the go. The sensory scavenger hunt. Here's how it works. Every time you leave the house, whether it's for a walk, a trip to the grocery store, or even just checking the mailbox, challenge yourself to notice 3 specific things using your senses. For example, find something blue that's softer than a pillow. Listen for a sound that starts with the letter S. Smell something that reminds you of your childhood. The goal isn't to collect answers like a quiz. It's to force your brain to actively engage with your surroundings instead of slipping into autopilot. A 2023 study in neurology showed that seniors who practiced sensory awareness exercises had 30% fewer markers of cognitive decline over 5 years compared to those who didn't. Why? Because every time you consciously process sights, sounds, and smells, you're essentially oiling the gears of your neural networks. Take my friend Dottie. She started doing scavenger hunts during her morning walks. I used to just power through counting steps, she said. Now, I'm noticing dandelions growing through cracks, the way the bakery's bread smell changes with the seasons. It's like the world got HD upgraded. And here's the kicker. She recently navigated a detour during a road trip without panicking, something that would have overwhelmed her a year ago. But let's get practical. How do you turn these games into a daily habit that sticks? Here's the trick. Pair them with something you already do. Brushing your teeth? That's dual tasking time. Waiting for your toast to pop? That's 90 seconds for object improv with the butter knife. Sitting down with your afternoon tea? Perfect moment for a reverse recap of your day. By anchoring these games to existing routines, you're not adding to your to-do list. You're upgrading what you're already doing. And if you miss a day, don't sweat it. This isn't about perfection. It's about progression. Even doing these games 3 times a week can make a difference. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't drown it once a month. You give it a little attention regularly, and over time, it thrives. Now, you might be wondering, why do these specific games work better than, say, reading the newspaper or doing puzzles? It's all about novelty and multitasking. Routine activities, even brainy ones, eventually become familiar, like walking the same path every day. But these games force your brain to adapt, improvise, and make unexpected connections. It's the difference between reheating leftovers and cooking a new recipe. Both feed you, but one keeps your skills sharp. So, to recap where we are, you've got 4 powerful tools in your arsenal now: dual tasking, reverse storytelling, object improv, and sensory scavenger hunts. But here's what I haven't told you yet. The real secret isn't the games themselves. It's the mindset you bring to them. Are you approaching them with curiosity, a sense of play, or are you treating them like a chore? Because here's the truth. Stress is kryptonite for your brain health. If you're gritting your teeth through these exercises, you're missing the point. The goal is to enjoy the process, to reconnect with that kid who once turned cardboard boxes into castles and couch cushions into mountains. That's where the magic happens. But we're not quite done yet. Because all the games in the world won't help if we ignore the elephant in the room, the other daily habits that either support or sabotage your brain health. Things like sleep, diet, and yes, even how you talk to yourself about aging. And that's exactly what we're going to tackle next. Because here's the truth. Stress is kryptonite for your brain health. If you're gritting your teeth through these exercises, you're missing the point. The goal is to enjoy the process, to reconnect with that kid who once turned cardboard boxes into castles and couch cushions into mountains. That's where the magic happens. But we're not quite done yet. Because all the games in the world won't help if we ignore the elephant in the room, the other daily habits that either support or sabotage your brain health. Things like sleep, diet, and yes, even how you talk to yourself about aging. And that's exactly what we're going to tackle next. Let's talk about sleep for a minute. Not the "I dozed off during the news again" kind, but the deep restorative sleep that leaves you feeling refreshed. Because here's the thing. Those 10-minute brain games, they're like planting seeds. But without good sleep, it's like trying to grow a garden in a drought. A study from Harvard Medical School found that poor sleep doubles the buildup of amyloid plaques, those sticky proteins linked to Alzheimer's, in the brain. Scary, right? But here's the flip side. Improving your sleep hygiene can amplify the benefits of everything we've talked about so far. Take my friend Rita. She'd been doing the brain games religiously, but still felt foggy. Then her doctor suggested one tiny change. No screens after 8 p.m. Instead, she reads library books, the paper kind, or listens to old jazz records. Within a month, she was sleeping through the night. And suddenly, those reverse storytelling exercises felt effortless. "It's like my brain had been running on low battery for years," she said. Now she combines her sensory scavenger hunts with evening walks to tire herself out naturally. That's the power of stacking habits. And while we're on the topic of habits, let's talk about food. because what you eat fuels all of this. I'm not saying you need to go keto or quit dessert forever, but adding a few brain-boosting foods can make those 10-minute games even more effective. Think of it like putting premium gas in your car. Foods like walnuts, blueberries, and leafy greens are packed with antioxidants that fight inflammation. Even something as simple as staying hydrated matters. Dehydration shrinks brain tissue, literally making it harder to think clearly. My rule of thumb? Keep a glass of water next to you during your brain games. Sip, play, repeat. But here's the part most people skip. Your brain thrives on connection. Those games we've talked about? They're even better when you do them with someone else. My cousin Ed and his wife Marge turned their nightly reverse storytelling into a competition. Who can remember the most ridiculous detail? Marge says. Last week, Ed won because he recalled the exact pattern of my sneeze during breakfast. They're laughing, bonding, and protecting their brains, all at once. Loneliness, on the other hand, can be as damaging as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So invite a friend to join your sensory scavenger hunt. Turn object improv into a Zoom game with the grandkids. Make it social, and suddenly, it's not a chore. It's a joy. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. How you talk to yourself about aging. If you've spent years thinking, I'm just getting old, what can I do? That narrative is poison to your brain. Dr. Becca Levy at Yale found that seniors with positive beliefs about aging lived 7.5 years longer and had significantly lower dementia rates than those who saw aging as inevitable decline. So the next time you fumble a word or misplace your glasses, don't mutter, "Ugh, I'm losing it." Try instead. Nice try, brain. Let's find another path. Humor and self-compassion are secret weapons here. To recap, here's your daily recipe for a dementia-resistant brain. 1. 10 minutes of brain games. Mix and match the 4 we've covered. 2. Quality sleep. Chase it like it's your job. 3. Brain-friendly foods. Walnuts over Wonder Bread. 4. Social connection. The more laughter, the better. 5. Positive self-talk. Your mind is listening. Be kind. But let's be real. Life happens. Some days you'll forget the games entirely. Others you'll be too tired to care. That's okay. Progress, not perfection, is what matters. Even doing one of these things most days puts you miles ahead of where you'd be otherwise. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one game, just one, and try it today. Right after this video, maybe. Dual task while you brew your coffee. Tell yourself a reverse story while you fold laundry. Grab a spatula and pretend it's a conductor's baton. Whatever sparks your curiosity. Then, come back here and tell me how it went in the comments. Did you surprise yourself? Did it feel silly? Your story could inspire someone else to take that first step. And if this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and share it with someone you care about. Maybe a sibling, a friend, or that neighbor who's always complaining about senior moments. Together, we can rewrite what aging looks like. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss our next chat. We've got plenty more science-backed, no-nonsense tips coming your way. Everything from balancing hormones naturally to staying strong enough to lift your grandkids or your groceries well into your 90s. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. Remember, aging isn't about decline. It's about unfolding. Every laugh, every lesson, every little brain game is a stitch in the tapestry of a life well lived. Here's to your sharp mind, your resilient spirit, and the countless adventures still ahead. Take care of that brilliant brain. It's got work to do.